Hi everyone, my name is Kassandra, and today we'll be doing a 45-minute class to help relieve stress and anxiety. We'll just be doing some gentle hip openers and a lot of forward folds, as well as some breathing exercises. The only prop that I'll ask that you have is one block, and that should be more than enough. We'll begin in a comfortable seated pose. This can be cross-legged, kneeling, or sitting up on a block, really whatever helps support your lower back. We're going to start by doing alternate nostril breathing. Keep your left hand down on your knee, and using your right hand, you're going to want to use your thumb to lightly press over your right nostril, and then your pinky and ring finger will go over the left nostril. Your index and middle finger can rest towards the third eye. So if that's not really working for your hand, you can always just use only the thumb and only the pinky finger. Otherwise, I'll go over it again. Right thumb over the right nostril, index and middle finger towards the third eye, and then the ring finger and the pinky goes over the left nostril. Seal off the right nostril by pressing the thumb, and then exhale through the left nostril. Inhale through the left nostril, seal it off, and then exhale through the right. Complete the cycle by inhaling through the right nostril, seal it off, and then exhale out the left. So we're going to do about 9 more full rounds. Go at your own pace. Inhaling left, sealing it off, and exhaling right. Inhaling right, sealing it off, exhaling left. 8 more rounds. Seven more. Always inhaling through one and exhaling through the other. Inhaling through the nostril that you just exhaled. Sealing it off. So I've got 5 left. 4, 3, inhaling left, exhaling right, inhaling right, exhaling left. 2 more cycles. Inhale left, exhale right, inhale right, exhale left. Last one. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale out the left, and release your hands to the knees. Take a few breaths with your natural breath rhythm. Soften the shoulders, the jaw. So alternate nostril breathing is a wonderful way to cool down and a great way to relieve any stress and anxiety. Let's make our way into a wide-legged child's pose. Big toes together, knees apart. And you can bring the knees as wide as you would like. The wider they are, the deeper the stretch will be. If it feels like a strain on the lower back, just bring them in closer towards each other. Forehead can rest to the ground or to a block. Take 5 breaths here. Keep drawing the shoulder blades down the back. And let's walk our palms in inch by inch. Make your way into a tabletop pose on hands and knees. Knees underneath the hips, palms underneath the shoulders, fingertips spreading wide. Taking cat and cow. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, curl tailbone up. And then exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. Warming up the upper body. Inhale, look forward. Keep the elbows straight. Exhale, round the spine, tailbone reaches down towards the floor. 2 more. Go at your own pace. Doesn't necessarily need to be the exact same pace that I'm doing. You want to instead follow the rhythm and the flow of your breath. Make your way back into your neutral tabletop pose and just take some hip circles. So there's really no right or wrong way to do this. You're just tracing large circles with the hips. Keep your breath steady as you do this. A wonderful way to warm up the lower back and lubricate the joints in the hips. And you can reverse your circles in the opposite direction. Keep reaching it back to the sides and forward. Take about 1 more. And we'll come back to our tabletop pose. Walk your palms a few inches past the shoulders. Take your first down dog. Toes curl under, hips lift up and back. First downward dog of the day. Feel the chest press towards the thighs. Paddle the feet and keep a soft bend into the knees. Shake out the head a few times. Notice if you're getting distracted or worrying. Make this practice all about being in tune with your body and in tune with your breath. We're trying to let go and relax. From this downward dog, as you inhale, let's shift forward into plank pose, shoulders over your wrists. And you can lower your knees down to the floor first or make your way down to your belly. Pointing the toes back, let's take cobra. So press the feet to the ground. Inhale, chin and chest lift up. Exhale, release down to the floor and press back into your downward facing dog. From this downward dog, let's extend our right leg up towards the sky. Bend your right knee and open up your hip nice and wide. Keep pressing your right shoulder down and squeeze the glutes so you can lift your knee up a little bit higher. Straighten and square the right leg. Turn your hip down so the knee and the toes point down and carefully step your right foot forward in between the palms to the top of the mat. We're going to lower our left knee down to the floor and reach the arms up for your low lunge. Drawing the shoulder blades down the back, lifting up and pressing the hips forward and down. If you'd like to take this a tiny bit further, you can shift your gaze up towards the sky and maybe bring your palms together to touch. Let's take our first fold. As you exhale, fingertips come to the floor. We're going to straighten our right leg. You could hold here if you'd like, or you can let your hips rest over that left heel. Bring your hands towards the back of your mat and release the forehead down towards the floor. And you'll get the nice stretch into the back of your left foot and deep into the ankle. Let's lift our chest up a little bit so we can bring our palms forward again, bending into the right knee. Plant your hands to the ground and you're going to step that right leg all the way back behind you. Right leg is straight. You're going to roll to the inside edge of your right foot so you can lean onto your left hand and extend your right arm up towards the sky. So this is a variation of our side plank pose. Your left knee is down on the floor to help press and lift your hips up a little higher. We're going to stretch the sides of the waist by extending the right fingertips forward towards the top of the mat. Really reach and extend as much as you can here. Keep pressing through all four corners of your right foot down into the floor. And start to look down. Right hand comes down to the floor. Come back to square your right hip and your chest to the mat. And we're going to kick our right heel up towards the sky. So almost like our cat and cow. As you inhale, you're going to drop the belly, lift the gaze, and kick the heel up. And on the exhale, you're going to round your spine and pull your knee in towards your chest. Maybe even tapping the knee to the nose. Let's do that 2 more times. So inhale, lift and look up. Reach through the heel. Exhale, contract and pull it in. Last one, inhale, lift up. Exhale, squeeze it in. Tabletop pose. Walk your palms forward, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank pose. Exhale, maybe chaturanga this time. Inhale to your up dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Second side, let's reach our left leg up. Bend the left knee and open up that hip nice and wide. Keep pressing your left shoulder down. Soften your neck. Straighten and square your left leg so it'll need to drop a little bit. And carefully place that foot in between the palms to the top of the mat. We're coming up into our low lunge, so right knee comes down to the floor. Arms extend up, pressing your hips forward and down. And just like before, you can either stay as you are, or you can look up towards the ceiling and press your hands in towards one another. Little bit of a back bend, mostly opening up the chest. Let's bring our fingertips towards the floor, into our forward fold. So straighten the left leg and either hold here in your hamstring stretch, or let the hips drop all the way down onto that right heel. Bring your hands as far back as you can as you lower the forehead down. Let any pent-up tension and stress melt away. Let's bring our hands forward again so we can bend into that left knee. Plant your palms to the ground and extend your left leg all the way back. Keep it nice and straight, and we're going to roll to the inner edge of your left foot, leaning onto your right hand and extending your left arm up. So your modified side plank pose, you're stacking one shoulder directly over the other, pressing your hips up as high as you can, and take your side stretch by reaching your left fingertips towards the top of your mat. Press through all four corners of your left foot. Start to look down to the mat. Left palm comes down to the floor. Square off your shoulders and your hips, that same cat and cow option. So as you inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, and kick your left heel up as high as you can. Squeeze the glutes. As you exhale, pull your knee in towards your nose and round. 2 more like this. Inhale, lift up, look up, keep the elbows straight. Exhale, pull it in. Last one. Inhale to lift. Exhale, squeeze it in. Let's step it back into your tabletop pose. Walk your palms a couple inches past the shoulders. Curl the toes under and lift your hips up and back. Stay here if you'd like, or take your flow. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And from this downward dog, let's reach our right leg up towards the sky. Step it forward in between the hands. Warrior 1. Left foot spins at a 45-degree angle. Right knee bends generously. Arms extend up. So everything is facing forward towards the top of the mat. See if you You can press and sink the hips down a little bit more while still reaching into that left heel. Making our way into pyramid pose, let's straighten the right leg. Bring your hands on your waist and step that back foot in just a couple inches. Keep squaring off towards the top of the mat. So notice how your left hip is going to want to open up. Try to prevent that from happening. You might want to have your block somewhere close by. Inhale, lift the heart up. And then exhale, hinge at the waist and fold forward. As low as you can, fingertips can stay where they are. Drop down towards the floor or reach for a block if the floor is a little bit too far away. So these forward folds are really a great way to relieve stress and help melt away tension. So while you're in it, soften the shoulders, the upper back, and the head as much as you can. Let your legs support you in the pose. Let's lift the chin and chest up. Start to bend into your right knee and slide your left toes back a little bit. Left hand plants to the ground, right arm extends up. Take your twist. One breath here to open the chest. And then right fingertips come down to the floor. We're going to come from here into our seated twist. So you're going to slide your left knee behind your right ankle until both sit bones can sit down to the floor. So right foot is crossing over the top of your left thigh. As you inhale, lift and lengthen. Bring your right fingertips behind you, about 6 inches or so. Reach your left arm up, breathe in deeply. And as you exhale, twist by hooking your left elbow to the inside of your right thigh crease and pulling your right shoulder back. Maybe even looking over the top of that right shoulder. Spine is nice and long. Slowly unwind and come back to center. Bring the soles of your feet together to touch, knees apart. Butterfly fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, hinge at the waist and release. 5 breaths here. Slowly unwind and come all the way back up. Use your hands to bring the knees back in towards one another, and you can cross at the ankles and lean back a little bit. As you cross your ankles, you're going to step the feet down, bring your palms to the floor, step it back into your downward facing dog. Feel free to hold this down dog if you'd like, or move through your vinyasa. Inhale to plank, exhale to lower. Inhale, find your heart opener. And then exhale, your hips lift you up and back to your downward facing dog. Let's go do that sequence on the other side. Left leg will reach up towards the sky. Bend the left knee, open up that hip. Straighten the left leg so the knee and the toes face down. And carefully step your left foot forward in between the palms. Right foot turns at a 45-degree angle or so for warrior one. Arms extend up. Left knee is bending, right leg is straight. Try to scoop your right hip forward and pull the left hip back. So grounded in the lower body and lifting up through the upper body. We'll make our way into pyramid pose by straightening the left leg, bringing our hands on our hips and pulling that back foot in just a little bit. So as you inhale, try to lift and lengthen. And on the exhale, hinge at the waist to fold. Notice how when you fold down, the right hip wants to open up. Try to prevent that from happening. And set your fingers either on a block or down to the floor. Shake out the head. Notice if you're clenching the jaw or tightening up any muscles that really don't need to be working right now. Let's lift our chest and look up. You're going to slide your right toes back a little bit behind you. Plant the right hand to the floor. Inhale, left arm up. Take your twist. Let's bring our left fingertips down to the floor. We're going to take our seated twist. So slide your right knee behind your left ankle and sit back down. So you're crossing that left foot over the right thigh, really pressing through all four corners of that left foot. Bring your left fingertips behind you for support. Inhale, right arm up, lift. And then exhale, hook your right elbow to the inner left thigh crease and pull that left shoulder back, maybe looking over towards your left shoulder. Try to avoid rounding or collapsing forward. We're creating space from the crown of the head all the way down to the tailbone. Release and unwind, coming back to face forward. We'll take that same butterfly fold, feet together, knees apart, catching a hold of the toes. So as you inhale, you're lifting up, and then exhale, hinging at the waist, softening down for 5 breaths. Unwind and come back up. Use your hands to help the knees come back in towards each other. Cross the other ankle on top as you lean back, and then plant the feet, plant the palms, step back into your downward facing dog. You can definitely stay here or move through your vinyasa. Inhale, plank. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's reach our right leg up towards the sky. Bend your right knee, open up that hip. Straighten and square the right leg, and carefully step your right foot forward in between your palms. Back foot parallel to the short edge of your mat. We're coming up into Warrior 2. Right knee is bent, left leg is straight. Bend into your right knee and press that knee open as much as you can. Let's reverse our warrior. Left hand down, right arm up. Inhale, back to Warrior 2. Let's take triangle pose. So straighten the right leg. Bring your back toes in just a couple inches. Your hips will reach back. You're going to slide your right hand forward and down the leg. Left arm up towards the sky. You can either hold on to the shin like what I'm doing, or you can use a block, or you can even just press your hand to the inside edge of your shin. The goal here is not necessarily to go all the way down towards the floor. Instead, we're trying to lengthen both sides of our waist, keep our left shoulder drawing back so the chest stays nice and open. Take another inhale. And let's look down towards the floor so you can bend into your right knee. We're gonna come from here into pigeon pose. So just bring your right knee behind your right wrist and extend your left leg back behind you. Before we go into our fold, take a little back bend by walking your fingertips back as much as you can and lifting the chest up. And then exhale, melt the heart down, holding for about a minute or so. Feel free to put a block underneath your right thigh or underneath your chest. As much as possible, you want gravity to do the work for you. So this can be effortless for the upper body and for the hips. Simply focusing on your breathing in and out through the nose. Final 3 breaths here. And use your arms to lift yourself back up. We meet in our down dog, and feel free to take any movements that you need once you're there. Shaking out the hips, paddling the feet. And again, take a flow or leave it out. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, downward dog. Let's go do that sequence to the other side. Reach your left leg up and back. Bend the left knee, open up that hip. And let's straighten and square the left leg. Carefully step it forward in between your palms. Spin your right foot parallel to the short edge of your mat so you can lift up into your warrior 2. Left knee is bending generously and you're pressing that left knee open. Almost as if you were trying to get your left thigh parallel to the ground. It might not really get there, but that's what we're intending to do. We'll reverse our warrior, right hand down, left arm up. Back into your warrior 2. Triangle pose, straighten the left leg, bring your back toes in just a little bit, and then hips will go back. Slide the left hand down your left leg, maybe catch a hold of the shin, right arm up. So remember, we're trying to lengthen the spine and find space through both sides of the waist, so no crunching and no compression through the left side of your ribs. You want to feel tall and lifted. Start to look down at the mat. Bend into your left knee until you can bring your palms to the ground. We're taking pigeon pose on the other side. So left knee goes behind the left wrist. Right leg reaches back behind you. Take your back bend first. So walk the fingertips in as close towards you as you can. Lift your heart up. And then exhale, melt forward and down. 1 minute here. Halfway through, try to relax the chest and the shoulders. Let your hips be heavy. And let's meet back in our downward dog. Take your time, curling the toes under, and then bringing that left foot next to the right, pressing the hips up and back. Into your flow. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your feet towards the top of your mat, and then widen your feet towards the edges of the mat, so wider than your hips. Keep those feet parallel. Bend your knees a little bit and soften the upper body. Catch a hold of your big toes with 2 peace fingers. As you inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. And on the exhale, bend the elbows away from each other and try to draw the crown of the head down towards the floor. Remember, we're not hyperextending or locking our knees. Keep a gentle little bend. This is a great way to protect your lower back. Release the hold of the toes. Bring your heels in, toes out. Bend the knees, drop the hips. Malasana, your yogi squat, hands at the heart. Use your elbows to press the knees a little bit wider and lift the chest. If this is enough of a hip opener for you, by all means, stay exactly where you are. If you wanted to go deeper into the squat, you can wiggle your heels in towards one another so that the heels are touching and the feet are apart. And instead of having our hands at our heart, we're going to wrap and reach our hands towards the back of the heels and then fold forward. So 3 to 5 breaths here in whichever squat you've chosen to take. Just breathe into the low back and into the hips. If you were in this fold, you can start to lift back up and unwind. Bring your palms forward. Widen your feet once more, and we're going to take our forward fold, so feet towards the edges of the mat. Straighten the legs and release. And bend your knees generously so you can roll all the way up to stand, inch by inch. Head and shoulders are the last to make their way up. We're going to draw the shoulders down and away from the ears. Palms shine forward, mountain pose. So let's open up into a straddle fold. Bring your legs wide. You'll want to have both feet parallel to the shorter edges of your mat. Start with your hands on your wrists. Start with your hands on your hips. As you inhale, lift and lengthen. And on the exhale, hinge at the waist and fold forward. So as you come down, you're going to bring your palms towards the floor, and instead of folding straight down, we're going to walk our hands over towards our right foot, maybe catching a hold of the right ankle or the shin and just pulling the forehead towards that leg. You'll feel a nice side stretch from your left shoulder all the way down into your left hip crease, while really inviting the hamstrings to open up a little bit more. Let's switch sides. Walk the hands over towards your left foot. Catch a hold of whatever is accessible and within reach, and draw in. Take one more full breath into the chest, and then exhale, come back to center. Lift your chest up halfway and lengthen. Hands come onto your waist, press into the feet and lift all the way back up. And we're going to step back to the top of the mat. Take a flow to close that out. So inhale, arms up, palms come together. Exhale, hinge at the waist and fold forward. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, let's plant the palms and just step it back to your plank pose instead of hopping through. So exhale, lower with control. Inhale to your upward dog. Exhale into your downward facing dog. From this down dog, we're going to make our way through to seated. You can either just drop your knees to the floor, or if you want to practice your jump through, you can lift your heels, bend your knees generously, and you need to look past your palms, crossing the ankles, and then swinging the legs forward and lowering down. So from the seated pose, We're gonna keep our right leg straight out in front of us, and we're gonna bring our left foot to the inside of that right thigh. Sit up nice and tall, grounding in the sit bones. As you inhale, reach the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, hinge at the waist and fold forward. So catch a hold of whatever is accessible. And slowly release the hold of the foot and walk your palms back inch by inch. Let's bring our left hand back behind us. You're going to reach your right arm up and over and press into the legs to lift the hips up. And reach the head back, only if that's comfortable for the neck. Just get a nice extension through the chest. And let's release and set the hips back down to the ground, switching sides. Left leg forward. Right foot comes to the inside of your left thigh. Sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, reach the arms up. Low back is long. Exhale, maintain that length as you hinge at the waist and fold, catching a hold of whatever is accessible. You can always bend a little bit into your left knee. Take your last 2 full breath cycles. See if there's any way the forehead can relax and reach a little bit closer towards the ground. And carefully walk the palms back in. Lift your head and your chest back up. This time, right hand goes back behind you under the right shoulder. Left arm reaches up and over as you press your hips and lift the chest. Maybe leaning back with the head if that's comfortable. Take one more breath, full extension. And then exhale, set the hips back down to the floor. Please grab a hold of your block and we're gonna lower down, coming into supported bridge. So knees are bent, feet are flat to the mat. Keep your block on its lowest level. You're just going to lift your hips and put the block underneath your hips and underneath your tailbone. It's important that the block doesn't end up being underneath your lower back, so push it down. From the supported bridge pose, let's draw our right knee in towards the chest. Left leg can stay bent or can extend. Take a few ankle rolls with your right foot. Flex and point the toes. Try to pull your thigh in a little bit closer to the belly. Let's bend the left knee. Set the right foot down and we'll switch sides. So pull your left knee in towards you. And either stay here or the right leg straightens out this time. Drawing your left thigh in towards you. Take those same little ankle rolls, flexing and pointing the toes on this side. Let's bend the right knee. Bring both feet flat down to the ground. So to finish off, before we come into Savasana, our final resting pose, we're going to lift the legs straight up towards the sky. So this is a variation of legs up the wall. If you were close to a wall and wanted to go up against it, you're more than welcome to do so. Soften the arms alongside you. And this is one of my favorite poses to do if I am feeling stressed out. It's a great way to relax at the end of the day or whenever anxiety levels are a little high. Knees can be softly bent or straight. Let's bend the knees slowly. Set your feet back down to the ground. And press your feet to the floor to lift the hips, move the block out of the way, and settle into Savasana, your final resting pose. Take up as much space as you're comfortable taking, feeling the shoulders drop away from you, and the legs get heavy. Enjoying these last few minutes of silence and stillness. If you would like to stay in Shavasana longer, you are more than welcome to do so. Otherwise, if you'd like to get on with your day, you can start to breathe a little bit deeper into the belly and chest. And maybe invite gentle movement back into the body, wiggling the extremities or turning the head side to side. Let's reach the arms up overhead, take a deep stretch. Rolling over to one side. Use arm strength to lift yourself up. Take a comfortable seat. Palms can rest on the knees or join at the front of the heart. We'll close our practice with one full breath together. Inhale through the nose and out the mouth. Thank you so much for doing this practice with me. I hope you feel mellowed out. I hope to practice with you again soon. Namaste.